Welcome back, everybody, to Niners Now. I'm your host, Brady Grustas, at Grustas Brady on X. You can follow me there. And today it is time for the Week 15 preview show. The Niners are back at home this week in Levi's, coming out of the bye week, facing off against the Tennessee Titans and the number one pick, Cam Ward. Titans not having a great season so far, but any given Sunday, any NFL team can win. We're going to go over the game day checklist today, just like usual. And of course, stick around until later in the show, because we've got our three key matchups to take a look at as well. The 49ers are favored big in this matchup, but they've got to take care of business this week in order to keep the one seed dream alive. Before we begin, go ahead and subscribe down below. I really appreciate the support that you guys have been giving on the last couple of videos. Every subscription means a ton, so please subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and let's get into the video. First of all, I want to talk about Yetur Gross-Matos. He has officially been activated from IR, at least his practice window. Any pass rush help that, the 49ers can get at this point is a bonus, whether it's coming from the injured reserve, it's coming from the practice squad, it's coming from outside the building. Any kind of pass rush help they can get is phenomenal. And Gross-Matos is that pass rush help. He has not played since week 5, thanks to this hamstring injury. He was the best interior pass rusher on the team before his injury, believe it or not, according to, I believe, pass rush win rate and also PFF pass rush grade. He was a monster rushing against guards and centers. He really mastered that sort of Keon White, Mykel Williams, Charles Omenihu sort of role. He's a long-bodied guy with long arms, and he's tall. He's like 6'4" or 6'5", and he looks lanky out there compared to these very stocky guards, and he's able to use his quickness to get around those players really quickly. Whereas guys like White and Williams, they come at it with a lot of power. I feel like, Gross-Matos has a little bit of power, absolutely. He can push the pocket from the interior, but I feel like he also uses a little bit of quickness. He's a little bit faster than a White or a Mykel Williams, at least just from the eye test. I'm not sure what the measurements on those are. He is a bit redundant. He does do that, outside on base downs, inside on pass rush downs role. But he kind of only does the pass rush part. He's a bit of a pass rush specialist for the 49ers. At least he is this year. But of course, any talented player that you can add helps a ton, right? Especially if it's pass rushing on the interior, which is an area the 49ers have struggled with quite a bit this season. I don't believe any 49ers interior defender has a sack yet. Keon White does, if you want to count that. Mykel Williams does, if you want to count him. But maybe Kalia Davis has like half a sack or something. It's been dire. And so we'll see if Gross-Matos plays on Sunday. But even if he doesn't, they're going to need him for the stretch run, right? They're going to need him against the Colts, pretty good offensive line. Bears, pretty good offensive line. Seahawks, they have their weaknesses. But then, ideally, heading into the playoffs as well, you're going to need to be able to pressure the quarterback, which is something the 49ers have struggled with quite a bit this season. But let's get on to the game day checklist now. I've got 3 things that I think the 49ers absolutely have to do in order to win this football game. And the first one is going to be win special teams. This is crucial. This is one of the most important special teams games of the season. One of the top 3, if not, top 5, maybe top 3 most important special teams games of the year. This is a battle between 2 top 10 special teams units in the NFL. Eddie Pinheiro is back for the 49ers at kicker. He has yet to miss a field goal this season. We'll see if he misses any more extra points in this game coming off of his injury. We'll see if that injury affects his performance. Hopefully not, but it very well could. On the other side, the kicker for the Titans is former 49er Joey Sly. Sly has missed 5 field goals so far this season, and I believe I saw a stat that no team has benefited more from opponent missed field goals than the 49ers. So we'll see if Joey Sly can add on to that this season. Also, Chimere Dike for the Titans is a rookie wide receiver and punt returner, and he's been the best punt returner in the NFL this season. Already 2 punt return touchdowns, including a 90-yarder. Dike has been explosive and consistent in the return game. Former Wisconsin Badger. Shout out to Chimere Dike. I really like his game, but I don't like it on Sunday. I don't want him to go off. Of course, the 49ers have allowed one punt return touchdown. That was to Parker Washington all the way back in week 4. Hopefully, Thomas Morstead and the coverage unit are able to keep a lid on things for the most part. Because a big punt return, that's a really easy way for the Titans to stay in the ball game. So shutting that down is going to be very important for the 49ers special teams. And then on the other end, Sky Moore, we saw it against Arizona, right? What better way to just break open a game like this, a game that they should win by double digits? What better way to really break that scoring open than by taking a kickoff or a punt to the house, like Sky Moore almost did against the Arizona Cardinals a couple weeks ago? Special teams is going to be big. I think the team that wins this game will have the better special teams performance, and I think it won't be that close. We'll see if it's the Titans dominating the 49ers or reverse. But win special teams. That's something I need the 49ers to do on Sunday. Next up, 0 turnovers. Winning the turnover battle, that's always important, right? We can put that on a game day checklist every single week. But specifically, I think this week it is especially important for the offense to play a clean game. I want 0 giveaways from the offense. Because if neither team turns over the ball, then the 49ers are probably going to win the football game. I just think there's way too much offensive talent to keep up with for Tennessee. Now, the Titans have a -5 turnover differential on the season. That's only one worse than the 49ers, who are at -4. However, the weakness is the fumbles, right? This is where I think the 49ers can take advantage. The Titans are second in the NFL in fumble giveaways, right? They fumble as much as any team in the NFL with 10 fumbles this year, besides Seattle, who's actually number 1. And then the 49ers are top 5 in fumbles forced this year. So we'll see if we see another punch out this game. Could be on Tony Pollard, maybe Chig Okonkwo, maybe they get a strip sack on Ward. Could be anything, right? As long as the 49ers offense does not give the ball away, I'm comfortable with whatever the defense does. And the defense has been great lately. The 49ers have 3 straight games with 2 or more takeaways. And the Titans, of course, have 1 or more giveaways in 3 of their last 4 games. Ironically, the one game they didn't turn the ball over was against the Seahawks, who was probably the best defense they played in that span. So, bit unpredictable from the Titans, but the 49ers have shown the ability to capitalize on turnovers as of late. We'll see if they can continue that against a really fun young quarterback in Cam Ward. And now the last item on the game day checklist, it's start fast. You gotta start fast. The Titans offense are the worst in the NFL in yards per game. They are second worst in points per game. Their defense is 4th worst in points per game allowed, right? This is a bad team. According to per game averages, the Titans score an average of 15.8 points and give up an average of 27.5. So the average Titans game is a 28-16 loss. That is a 12-point spread, which I believe is exactly where Vegas has the spread for this game. Very ironic. But the Titans, like I said, they're just not a good team. If the 49ers don't screw around, they're gonna win. And if you don't want to screw around, a really good way to avoid that is to start fast. Go up 14-0 immediately, and then just finish the game from there. Just don't collapse, right? That's what I want to see from the 49ers. I want to see a couple quick touchdowns. I want to see 3 and outs from the defense, and I don't want to see any trolling. I don't want to see any messing around. I don't want to see any bye-week lethargic sort of play. The 49ers really need to jump out ahead of this. They cannot afford to just sit on their laurels and come out of the bye week a little sluggish. They can't afford to do that, even against a bad Titans team. So that's your game day checklist for this week. You got to win special teams. There's got to be 0 turnovers from the offense. And you've got to start fast. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And of course, if you've got a game day checklist, tell me in the comments. I would love to take a look at it. Now, the next thing we're going to take a look at is the 3 key matchups in this game. I've got a bunch to take a look at here. This was kind of a tough one. I think there's a lot of good matchups in this game, but the first one I wanted to take a look at was Keion White versus Kevin Zeitler. Now, Keion White was balling against the Browns. Last time we saw the 49ers, Keion White had one of the best games of his entire career. You got to keep up momentum in this game. I would love to see another big game from White, especially considering the Titans' O-line is better than their numbers show. Cam Ward has been sacked this season more than any other player not named Geno Smith. They are tied with, I believe, 49 sacks on the year. Little tip of the cap to the 49ers. And Zeitler is, I believe, the starting right guard for the Titans. So he will have some matchups with Keion White for sure. He's a longtime NFL veteran, legend, great player. And Keion White, of course, matches up with the interior a whole bunch. He rushes over guards and over centers. Cam Ward is elusive. He's hard to bring down. But he is still getting sacked a whole lot, right? This has to be the way that the 49ers win. The Titans will give you sacks. Even though their offensive line is good and even though their quarterback is good, there are sacks available for the taking. 49ers need to get some of those. Pressure up the middle, I think, is the way to attack him. He's very good at managing pressure off the edges, so I think it might be a tough day for Bryce Huff, for Cleveland Ferrell. But guys like Keion White, like maybe Kalia Davis, like maybe Yetur Gross-Matos, you've got to get pressure up the middle, stuff the pocket, don't give him any lanes to escape or anything like that. Be ready for the run, be ready for his legs. He's a mobile quarterback. And I think you can bring him down 3 or 4 times in this game. I don't think that's a stretch at all, even with a really poor pass rush for the 49ers this season. Now, we're going to flip sides now for the next matchup. We're going to talk about the Niners offense versus the Titans defense. And I'm going to go with Ricky Pearsall versus Jalen Armour-Davis. If any game is the game for Ricky to get back to his early season form, it is this one. He's been open a good amount the past couple games, the Browns game, the Panthers game in particular, but the ball's just not going his way. Last time I believe Ricky Pearsall got a target was the end zone interception in Carolina, or against Carolina, I should say. But the Titans quarterbacks are awful. Jalen Armour-Davis and Darrell Baker are the Titans' starting cornerbacks. Leave a comment down below if you've ever heard of either of them. I'd heard of Jalen Armour-Davis because I thought he was a pretty decent trade candidate from the Baltimore Ravens cornerback room. Ended up being cut, signed by the Titans on waivers. And now he's starting, and he's just not that good. So this is a great opportunity for the offense to stretch the field, get some chunk plays, build some momentum, put up 30 points. And I think a good way to do that is to get Ricky involved. He is that field stretcher. Is he a deep threat? Not necessarily, but he can give you chunks of 15, 18, 20, 17, 20, 23, 18. He can get you those chunk plays in the passing game because he's open. You just got to get Ricky involved. And now the last matchup I want to take a look at is Jake Brendel versus Jeffrey Simmons. This is a lot like the Browns game in Week 13. Jeffrey Simmons is the Titans' best player, by far. He is a dominant pass rusher. He is a beast versus the run. He's probably been the best defensive tackle in the NFL this season. And he is part of an awesome duo, I should say, with Tavondre Sweat next to him, former teammate of Alfred Collins. Those two guys was pretty similar games. But Brendel just needs to hold his own against Jeffrey Simmons, like we talked about with Colton McKivitz going up against Myles Garrett. If you could hold Myles Garrett to 1 sack, you're doing a great job, and that's exactly what the 49ers did. It's going to be a similar thing with Jeffrey Simmons. If you hold him to 3 pressures instead of 7 or 8, then you're doing a good job. Brendel just needs to give Brock Purdy a chance to at least run the offense. At least give him a chance to be on time, right? I get it's Jeffrey Simmons. You're not going to be able to hold up forever. He's going to get his, but you just have to do enough for Brock Purdy to survive that pass rush. So those are your 3 matchups to watch this week. I've got Keion White versus Kevin Zeitler, Ricky Pearsall versus Jalen Armour-Davis, and Jake Brendel versus Jeffrey Simmons. If you think I missed out on any matchups, any coaching matchups, maybe leave your thoughts down below in the comments. I considered putting Robert Saleh versus Cam Ward on here. But if you think I missed anything, let me know. Leave a comment, and maybe you'll be featured in next week's comments section segment. This is my favorite part of the video, where I get to look at your comments and react to them. I read every single comment on every single video. If you left a comment, thank you very much. Even if it was not chosen for this video, I did read it and I did consider it. Special thanks to the 3 of you who are featured in this video. And of course, if you'd like to be in a comment section, all you got to do is leave a comment. The more you leave, the more likely you are to make it. Now let's get into our first comment, which is from Robert. A little off the subject matter, but I'd like to see you make an episode about everyone that, quote, jumped ship during the offseason and how their season is going so far after leaving the Niners. Everyone wrote off the season before they ever played a snap. Robert, I'd like that video a lot. I think that would be a really fun episode. Great idea. I've got it down on my list. I'll try and get that video in next week because I think that's a great one to talk about, right? We're most of the way through the season. Regular season's almost finished. And like you said, there was a quote-unquote mass exodus of talent from the 49ers. And sure, they lost a good bit of talent. But if you look around the league, I'm not sure that the 49ers lost as much talent as people would have liked you to believe. Guys like Dre Greenlaw, Talanoa Hufanga, Malik Collins, Leonard Floyd, Charvarius Ward, tons of guys did end up departing the 49ers. So I think in that video I will take a look around the league and see who's doing well, who's doing not so well. Leave any more names you want to see in the comments down below. If I didn't mention their name, but you want to see where they went off to, leave your comment down below. I'd be happy to look into that. Now, next comment from Matt. Wow, we can possibly see Brock Purdy and Phillip Rivers playing in the same game. That would be a crazy full circle moment. And we'll see. We'll see if Riley Leonard is able to go by the time the 49ers go play Indianapolis. He certainly could be. We might be robbed of the Phillip Rivers thing, but you never know. Could be Rivers. And if you don't know the history between Phillip Rivers and the 49ers and Brock Purdy, Rivers could have very well been the 49ers starting quarterback if the 49ers had somehow won that NFC Championship game where Brock Purdy tears his UCL, tears his elbow in the first quarter against the Eagles, his rookie year. We all remember this. In fact, we know that Rivers would have been the starting quarterback if they were able to move on to the Super Bowl because Kyle Shanahan just came out and said it. Kyle Shanahan said the other day that Phillip Rivers was, quote, secretly in the team install meetings back in 2022. He said the other members of the team did not know it, but Rivers was sitting in the Zoom call with his camera turned off during the install meetings, just in case there was another injury and the 49ers had to go get Phillip Rivers. Kyle Shanahan said, reportedly, we have this rookie that we really like, being Brock Purdy, but we want you to stay ready. How insane is that? That Phillip Rivers was in the install meetings without even being on the team and without the team knowing that he's even there. That is just wild. And even more crazy that 3 years later, he's now come out of retirement and he could start a game against the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan. The NFL is wild sometimes, man. I tell you. And now last comment now from B19. Still crazy that Tom Brady never played for the 49ers. Oh, agreed. Speaking of retired quarterbacks playing for the Niners, God, oh, how I wish Tom Brady was a Niner, at least for a month, right? Obviously, it was a huge mistake to miss out on him in the draft back in 2000. We all know that, right? But I think it actually hurt more when the Niners stuck with Jimmy Garoppolo and let Brady go to the Buccaneers in 2020. Of course, he then took them to a Super Bowl and multiple playoff runs. And gosh, I just can't imagine what it would have been like to have Tom Brady running a Kyle Shanahan offense. You'd have to think they would be at least one-time Super Bowl champions, right? At least one, maybe two. We would have never had the Trey Lance situation, probably. But we also maybe would have never had Brock Purdy. So it's really tough to say. Would have been a big ripple effect, that's for sure. Maybe that's a bit of off-season content I could do. Make predictions on what would have happened if Brady had signed with the 49ers. Let me know down below if you'd like to see that video. And of course, let me know down below if you'd like to be featured in a comments section. Who do you think gets the win on Sunday? The 49ers or the Titans? Make your predictions in the comments. As for my prediction, I'm going to go with the Niners in this one. I think it'll be 30-16. I think this game might be a little bit close early. First quarter, second quarter might be a little bit tight. You got to remember, this Titans team was tied with the Rams at halftime, I believe. But then I think the Niners kind of dominate the second half and they get the win at home. I think it'll be a little bit similar to the Panthers game in that way, where it's a one-score game and it's back and forth a little bit, and then by the time the second half runs around, the Niners run away with it. That's my prediction. Let me know down below what you think, and of course, let me know if you enjoyed. Leave a comment, leave a like, and let me know if there's any topics that you would like to see me cover. Thank you all for watching, and subscribe for 49ers videos 5 days a week. I'm Brady Grustas, at Grustas Brady on X. This has been Niners Now, and I'll see you next week.